Hey everybody, this is Michael with Asymmetrical Preparedness. Live like a prepper. Honestly, live like a prepper. What am I talking about here? Well, if you're truly a prepper and you truly desire to be ready for events that more than likely will happen. We never know. Okay, first off, what are some events that could happen? You guys know EMP, foreign invasion. An EMP is electromagnetic pulse. Basically, it fries, not all, like some people say, but a lot of the electronics, like vehicles, power stations, grid, infrastructure, stuff like that, and shuts everything down that's electronic. Not electrical, but electronic. Old school vehicles without computers will still work just fine. A lot of other stuff will work just fine. But that shuts us down, kind of puts us back in the 1800s. There are so many different things, big natural disasters may happen. But then again, it may also be a personal SHTF, which means, say you get injured, you're out of work for a period of time, or you get laid off. A lot of people, unfortunately, have been laid off due to this whole pandemic thing. A lot of people are suffering out there. So a lot of people are going through their personal SHTF right now. I hope that they prepared for it. But anyway, so live like a prepper. What am I getting at? And this is just my opinion, just like every video, it's just my opinion. Well, to me, a prepper doesn't go out and buy a new vehicle every 2 years. I mean, just because to me, as a prepper, there are other things that are way higher priority than having a fancy new vehicle every 2 years. My newest vehicle, it's 2021, and my newest vehicle is a 2006. And I feel that that's a fairly new vehicle. This is what I'm driving right now is 2005. So anyway, that kind of thing. Preppers don't go out and buy every single brand new iPad, iPhone, thingamajigger, whatever, all these high-powered, fancy cell phones and big, huge TV screen, screen TVs and Roku, DVD, Blu-ray crap that comes out. I'm not saying don't have it. I'm just saying don't buy like new stuff every year just because there's new stuff. Save your money. Make prepping a priority. Be okay with a little older vehicle. So you got to if you really want to survive, if you really want to thrive, if you really want your family to eat and to live through these situations that we talk about, some of them are very likely to happen, some of them are less likely to happen. But if you really want to live, what's more important, living or that fancy new TV or that fancy new car? Sometimes we got to downsize our wants and our desires and shift the focus into preparedness. One of the things is, like, I talk to people. I used to talk a lot. I was into finance and stuff like that. I'm not officially certified in anything financial, but I would explain to young kids in the military that basically there's two ways. There's probably more than that, but the main two ways to be retired and to live in retirement are save and invest lots of money, all the money you possibly can, so that by the time you go to retire, you can basically maintain the same standard of living. Or what you can do is still save money and do stuff like that and invest, but downsize your expectations. In retirement, you will be able to retire sooner and enjoy more of life without having to go to work and be away from your family if you just accept the fact that you can't buy a new vehicle every year. You can't, or maybe you downsize into a smaller home or a less expensive home. You have a smaller mortgage, or you refinance to get a smaller mortgage. Anyway, those are the two ways to retire. is save mass amounts of money and maintain your standard of living, and probably work for a lot longer, or to retire sooner, live simply, minimalist. I'm not, into the minimalism movement and all this stuff like that, but I really like a lot of the ideas with minimal living. But anyway, so yeah, live like a prepper. What else do preppers do? I mean, really, the homesteady things, right? Homesteading, raising your own animals, growing your own food, all those kind of things. Living off-grid maybe, or living on property. Maybe think about downsizing from that, like I said, that high-paying, high-earning job in the city where it's high-earning but it's also expensive, to a earning less money in a lower job with much lower cost of living. You can have basically the same standard of living, just different and much more fulfilling, being closer to the earth, working your farm, raising your animals, being there for your kids, learning homesteading, teaching your kids, all these kind of things. Live like a prepper. Think about what your priorities are. Prioritize prepping, but don't make it the only thing in your life. I'm not saying to do that. Make it a priority. And if you make it fun, it could still be the majority of your life, because there's so much to prepping. Anything outdoors related or physical fitness related can be prepping. So you literally could just do everything you do being prepping related, even though it's kind of not, kind of is. Anyway, so prepping or living like a prepper might actually also mean selling that newer vehicle, buying an older vehicle that is not electronic, not computer based, driven by and run by a carburetor, old school. This is talking mid 80s and older. And I get it, you give up a lot of creature comforts. They're not as comfortable. But I'll tell you what, here's what you can do. You can make them comfortable. If you want to do this is part of living like a prepper, you can have that older vehicle. Okay, so say an older Bronco, Blazer, Ram Charger, truck, whatever, SUV or truck is what I recommend for preparedness related, because that's a bug out vehicle. It's four-wheel drive, and it can get you to bug out locations. It can get you through more trouble and more situations than a car can, and or a two-wheel drive vehicle. So anyway, an older SUV or truck, four-wheel drive. And then, so what's that going to cost you? Maybe 10, maybe 15 grand, maybe 5 grand. Who knows? Okay, so then you take 5, 10, 15 grand, put it into it. Rebuild the engine, rebuild the transmission, basically make it brand new again. And then if you want creature comforts like really comfortable seats, buy and put in really comfortable seats. It's not that big of a deal. There's tons of shops around. Even if they got to fabricate a different kind of bracket to fit the seats, they can do it. You could put, brand new 2021 Ram Platinum seats in a 1977 Ram Charger. If you want to, you can do it. You can do anything you want with a vehicle. Just stay away from all the electronics. And yeah, of course, you're not going to have heated seats and all that stuff like that. But who cares? Really, what's important in life? Or you can just restore it, make sure it's mechanically sound and that everything works that needs to work and everything like that. And just drive a less comfortable vehicle. They're louder. They're more obnoxious. They're all these things, yes. But they're easier to work on. They're less expensive to maintain. They're more expensive to drive usually because the fuel economy is not as good as the newer vehicles. Although sometimes they are just as good. So anyway, yeah, vehicles are a big portion of where our money goes, right? And our housing is also. So instead of paying a bunch of money for some house, apartment, studio, whatever in the city, working a high wage earning job and trying to prep, working long hours, trying to find time for your family, not in an ideal situation anyway, and you realize that you're not in the ideal situation, it's a big leap, a big leap, a big leap of faith. But you can do it. You can be successful. You can move out of the city, move rural on some property for an amazingly less amount or lower amount of money than you're paying now. And it would probably amaze you at how inexpensive it is, depending on what state you go to. Like if somebody's moving from downtown Seattle here over to, I don't know, Clay Elm area, starting getting to Eastern Washington, Cascade area, Cascades. They're going to find things way cheaper, but not as big of a difference as if they move to the Ozarks, where it's going to be insanely cheaper for housing and land. So I guess the whole point is because I'm trying to get you guys to think about being honest with yourselves and living like a prepper. First off, if you don't want to, you don't have to. That's a great thing. We all have free will. I'm just talking about if you want to, what are some things you can do? You can downsize your house. You can move rural. You can sell your newer vehicle and buy an older vehicle, and use the money left over from selling your new vehicle to, hopefully you would have, unless you owe so much on it, and use that money to put into the older vehicle to make it really mechanically sound. And reliable. Old vehicles are reliable. Trust me, they're still around. They're way more reliable now than some newer vehicles that are basically reach 100,000 miles and throw them in the trash heap. There's something to be said for old metal and older vehicles. And fancy gadgets, fancy clothes. Anything expensive and or fancy in your life that you can cut corners on, that you can simplify. Maybe your food, your budget. I don't know what all people spend money on out there because we're very frugal. Maybe fancy furniture. We buy good quality stuff that lasts, but we don't waste money and we don't buy what we think of as frivolous purchases. My wife gives me, jokes at me sometimes when I get home and coming home from work. And she's like, I see you, made another frivolous purchase and bought fuel for your vehicle. Yeah, but anyway, live simply. Simplify your lives. Save money. Sell things that you don't need anymore. All that fancy, expensive workout equipment that you have that you don't use, well, I'd recommend using it or using some of it and selling the rest. Now is a good time. You get good prices for selling workout equipment nowadays. Sell it on Craigslist, Facebook, yard sale or something like that. I forget what it is. I don't do Facebook. But anyway, yeah, get rid of stuff, purge stuff, downsize stuff, live simply, drive an older vehicle, shop for clothes at a place that is less expensive than what you do right now. There's a lot of ways to cut corners. Brainstorm with your wife, your husband, your family, your friends, whoever it is that's around you that's going to do this with you and is impacted by this. Talk about what you can do. What do you want to do? I get it is a big decision. Some of these things are a very difficult, big decision. It's a leap of faith, big time. But you can do it, and you can be successful. You won't have the fancy things necessarily anymore. You won't be able to maybe go out and eat all the time anymore, but you won't really want to. You'll learn how to cook awesome homemade food. You'll be able to be so in touch with nature and just the earth, growing out and working the garden, raising your animals, stuff like that. And in the time with your kids, that one-on-one, oh my gosh, invaluable. Disconnect them. Take those screens away from them. Get them out there. with the chickens and the pigs or the whatever it is you're raising, and the trees and the gardens. Get their hands dirty, planting, sowing seeds, all this stuff like that. Yeah, I guess the main point of this video, I just want to encourage you guys to think about how you live and how serious you want to be about being prepared. I'm not saying you have to be any more serious than you are right now. I'm not saying you don't have to, that you can't have all the things that you want to have and that you do have. We all have free will. If that's what you want to do, go for it. I'm just recommending some ideas to those of you that wish to maybe make some changes. So anyway, I hope you guys like the video. I have been going through and I took down all the not appropriate for this platform stuff anymore and moved it all over to Patreon. So if you want to check out Patreon, that's where all the good stuff is. Well, there's good stuff here too, of course. I'm not saying there's not good stuff here, but this channel is only going to be prepper related, preparedness related, no politics. Not doing it here anymore. It's not worth it. Plus, it doesn't matter. Politics don't matter about prepping. Prepping is prepping. It's outside political structure anyway. And I don't want to get drugged into that the whole thing where a lot of other channels, they just go everything political. I don't want to do that. I want value in preparedness. Everything tactical, everything this related, security related, all that stuff's over there now. So, and it will be populating over the next couple months, as well as new content every day. So check it out if you want to. I would welcome it. And, my patrons are the heart and soul of Team AP. So I love you guys. Prep a little every day. Prep out of peace of mind, not out of fear. Work on your fitness. Eat healthy. And just do the things. I love you guys, and blessings to you and yours.